Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Elise. I am a runner based in San Francisco. Last Sunday, I just completed the 2024 London Marathon, and I want to use this video to do a quick recap about what went right, what went wrong, what worked for me a few days leading up to the race, as well as what happened during the race. So let's start. I left San Francisco on Thursday and arrived in London on Friday morning around like 6 to 7 a.m. So it was very, very early in the morning. I was able to sleep like a few hours on the flight, but not too much. So I was really hoping that I will get a good night's sleep on Friday evening. And then most of the time you don't really sleep well the night before the race on Saturday. So I was hoping Friday evening was the night that I can sleep as much as possible. So I arrived in London, went to the expo, pick up the bib, and I came back to the hotel, went for a quick 40 minutes recovery jog. I talked to my coach. I told him about my previous experience that I'm doing a shakeout run on Saturday. And then he said, no problem, you can just do your shakeout on Friday. So that's why I didn't go for a shakeout run on Saturday and then just do a run on Friday. After that 40 minutes run, I went back to the hotel and then went out for dinner. I had a pretty simple dinner, just like a noodle soup. The noodle was great. It's very low fat. I would say I didn't even see like much oil in the base of the soup. And then after that, I went to bed. Saturday morning, I woke up naturally around 10:30 a.m. I did wake up a few times throughout the night. So the sleep was very interrupted, but at least I got enough sleep. I slept in total 12 and a half hours on Friday night. And I think for me, I know myself, usually I'm a pretty low energy person. And it's funny to say that for someone who runs and trains for marathon. I get tired pretty easily. And I go through this cycle of like depleted all my energy and then have to like recharge. And the only thing works well for recharging is to sleep, or just to spend some time like alone or quiet time where I can actually free my mind, just not thinking about like much things. So Saturday, when I woke up, I went out for lunch and I came back. A friend visited me, so we went across the street to get some tea, and then I had a scone that's basically more carb. And I came back, prepared my like race gear. I put everything together, just knowing that these are the things I'm going to wear. And then I went out for dinner. Still across the street, I found an Italian restaurant, had a pretty good pasta, so I ordered two for myself. Came home and slept around 7 hours on Saturday evening. I think that's pretty solid. When I woke up on Saturday morning, my gear, they were all like laid out. So I had one boba. I was planning to have two, but I really didn't have like too much of an appetite. So I had one boba with a little bit the almond butter. And then I packed two wafer from Gu on the way, and then had another one around like between 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. on my way to the starting line. So that's as much as like what I eat before the race. And the train to the starting line was very easy to navigate. It took about 45 minutes from like central London to the starting line, which is in Greenwich Park. I had to change to a second train in between, and a lot of the runners actually missed the first train, came back just because there were so many people trying to squeeze in the train or trying to squeeze in a tube. So when we're waiting, I actually found like a metal rod that is on the side of the staircases, and I just sat there for 10 minutes to rest my leg, because I know myself, I need to rest as much as possible. And I was really surprised nobody else like did anything. They were just like standing there. And getting on the train, it was also super packed. I have a quick video about the train ride. There was literally no space for anybody to move. But the train ride was 15 minutes, and we got out at the Greenwich Park station, walked about 15 minutes to get to the starting line. Everything was clearly marked. I started from the red zone, so I just went to my area, checked my bag. It's a race with almost 50,000 runners, but for me, I didn't really feel like the starting area looks like this is a race for 50,000 runners. It was super well organized. I didn't need to wait to check my bags. It was just a very easy process, and there were a lot of porta potties. I didn't go to the porta potty with a very long line. I just continued to walk, and there were a lot of porta potties throughout the waiting area. So that was a huge plus, because I had experience at Berlin Marathon where there were no porta potties. There was like not enough porta potties, and I almost missed my starting point. Huge plus. After I went to the bathroom, I did a quick warm up. So it's about like 1 to 2 minutes jog, just to like have my body as a little bit warmed up and then stretched, and it repeated that a few times for about like 20 minutes, just to work out any kinks, any area that's a little bit tight, makes myself feel like comfortable, just get ready to move. I also didn't do much like stride. Basically, my coach, he has a team of people. They were all racing a London Marathon, and he only told one of the runners to do a few strides. I didn't know the reason why, but I was like, I didn't feel like doing any strides either. So just quick jog, 1 or 2 minutes, stretch, and repeat that a few times, and I felt like I was ready. Then from 9:45 to 10, we waited around the starting area because the volunteers were calling out the runners to go to their wave start. So I waited there for about 15 minutes. I took down my throwaway pants and put it on the floor, and then sat on the pants when everybody was waiting. I just really didn't want to stand for a long period of the time, and didn't want to like make my legs feel tired. And I've seen a lot of people, they're just not doing that. Everybody was just standing. Once they release us from the wave start to the official starting line, that's 10 a.m. to my start time was 10:15. That was another 15 minutes of waiting. But unfortunately, during those times, there was basically nowhere that you can just sit down. So I stood, and I was ready. I took off my throwaway clothes. I was in my tank top, just ready to start. That was the time when I started to look for pacer. Actually, at the starting area, I went to a few volunteers, asked them where can I find a pacer, since they separate the red start by waves, and I didn't see any pacer around the starting area. And none of the volunteers was able to tell me that. And then one of the volunteers even went out of her way to look for any information on her hand, and she couldn't find it. So I was like, that's okay. I think they might be at the starting line. At the starting line, I didn't find any pacer either. I did ask this guy who is very tall. I want him to see if do you see any pacer front or back? He said he didn't see any. And it seems like, to me, I was the only person who was looking for a pacer in my group. yeah, so that's when I know I probably had to like run without a pacer, which is fine. My goal was to run 3:40 and pace will be 8:20 per mile, 8 minutes 23 seconds per mile. It would be hard for me to actually make the calculation in my head, so I thought I would just run 8:20 flat. It will be easy for me to like every 3 miles is 25 minutes. I'm good at math. I can just I don't know why I said that. I can totally just run the numbers in my head every time we pass a mile marker. So it's like, okay, let's go. Around like mile 2, all of a sudden there's like, not mile 2, I think between mile 1 or 2, all of a sudden a 3:30 pacer show up behind me with a wave of people and they passed me. And I was like, okay, so there are pacers. And 3:30 run slightly faster. They were at one point they were running like 7:50 because I followed them for like a minute. And then they passed. And then all of a sudden 3:30 pacer and then his group show up behind me. I was like, awesome. Everything is lined up. Now I found my pacer or the pacer found me. Let's go. The pacer was also running, I feel like he was running slightly faster, like 8:15-ish, at least for the first like 5 miles. I did feel like he was running faster than his projected pace, but I followed him and then I kind of let him like pass me. Actually, throughout the race, before the mile 25, I was never really running with the pacer. He was always about like, I don't know, 10 meters in front of me. I just knew like he was there, but I didn't need to be in that group. So I can actually stay on pace relevantly, but not really staying with the pacer. The thing is, I asked my boyfriend to wait for me at mile 13 and at mile 23. I actually missed him both. I actually didn't find him. And I actually saw my friend Angela at mile 15 and mile 18 twice. That was one of the highlights, actually gave me a lot of extra energy. One of my boyfriend's best friend, he lives in London and then he was volunteering at the water station at mile 14. So I found him and I grabbed the water bottle from him before he realized. So that was another highlight. I had a call with my coach before the race. He told me no strain is allowed before mile 18. And for me, I am never the person who just go out too hard from the beginning. But I never really think about the race that you're not allowed to like strain before mile 18. So during the run, I was actually feeling good at the beginning, running 8:20-ish pace. But I could have run faster, but I held back. The reason I held back is I remember he told me that like no strain allowed before mile 18, and I couldn't like project how I was going to feel at mile 6, right? Like I didn't know what I was going to feel at mile 18, so I was holding myself back just to stay consistent at the pace for 8:20 and just listen to my body. Want to make sure that I'm holding everything together, running comfortably. I was pushing it slightly, but it's just like mild discomfort. My heart rate is always high and I really don't care about heart rate. In general, I felt like my legs are not tired. I was doing okay. I didn't feel like it was too hard. So I had just had that in my mind throughout the first 18 miles. No strain was allowed. After mile 16, it got a little bit hard, but I didn't feel like it was any strain. It was just, it's not supposed to be easy. Once I passed mile 18, that's when I know that, hey, I'm actually feeling pretty good. Let's just continue to hold this together to go through mile 20 and make a decision. And I passed mile 20. I was actually feeling it, but it's not like I didn't feel weak. I felt like, yeah, I'm feeling tired, but of course you're supposed to feel tired. I had not raced for a year and a half. Like I had some experience, but it's not like I race every few months, so I know what I'm going to feel, right, at that like pace, at that distance. The last 6 miles, it was a lot depending on the crowd. The crowd support was amazing. I don't have much comparison to like the crowd support except for New York City Marathon. The energy level was like out of this world. It was hard, but the crowd kind of just carried me over. Later on, when I look at my pace, the pace was still around like 8:20. My pace was very consistent, 8:20, almost like throughout the race. But I felt like I put in a lot more effort running that last 3 miles compared to any 3 miles in the early part of the race. So to sum up everything together, what worked for me for this race? Number one, rest. I was able to get enough sleep 2 days before the race. It's not really easy to travel to another place to run a marathon, especially in a different time zone. So getting enough sleep the 2 days before the race is very, very critical, and just get enough rest. This might be personal to me. My best friend Angela, she can basically walk 20,000 steps a day before a race, and she can still go out there run a PR the next day. So everybody is a little bit different, but for me, I do need to rest and reserve that energy. So what worked for me this time is to not do shakeout run on Saturday. I really didn't walk around the city as much. I just walked 10 minutes to get my lunch, and then walk across the street to get some tea. Like very minimal walking, and just rest my mind. I was chilling in the hotel. And that really just made me feel like I was not exhausted physically or mentally. So the second thing that really worked well for me is to listen to my body during the race, and then told myself no strain is allowed before mile 18. And I remember like at a certain part of the race, I wasn't like feeling so good, so I actually held back a little bit, and then I came around a few minutes later and I was able to go back to my pace, and I was actually surprised I was able to like come around pretty quickly, especially at the beginning of the race. And when I was feeling really fresh, I could have just run faster or even go with the 3:35 pacer, but I made the decision to hold back and stay on pace, and in the end I think it paid off. And I really like this race experience, just see how my body and how I felt like progressed throughout the miles, and the pace I was able to run at the last 6 miles. I'm very happy how it turned out. And third, what worked for me was that I adjust my race goal. Originally, when I started this training blog, I was very set on running 3:30. I do want to qualify for Boston. So for my age group, I just need to run 3:35, but it's very hard to get in these days. So I thought like at least I need a 5 minutes gap to run 3:30. Because of the injury I felt 3 times during this training block, I wasn't feeling so well the last 6 weeks, and it really didn't have the confidence just to hold the 8-minute pace for like 26 miles. So after reviewing my training plan, had a conversation with my coach, he actually asked me what is my goal for the race. In the end, I said, I think I can do 3:40. To be honest, at the time, I wasn't even sure if I could run 3:40. My PR previously was 3:49. I thought with the amount of work that I put in, it's possible to have a 9 minutes PR. I knew it's going to be hard, but it is possible. So I adjusted my like goal pace, just had a realistic goal set for myself. Didn't go out too hard. Probably made me had this opportunity to have a successful race and really enjoy the course, enjoy the crowd. And number 4, crowd support. The crowd in London is something else. People were out there cheering for you. I actually have my friend Angela. She traveled from Switzerland. We ran Chicago and Berlin Marathon in 2018 and 2019. And having her here, just saw her at mile 15, 18 was very special. It actually gave me an energy boost. My boyfriend's best friend volunteering, even just seeing him on the course, get that water from him was also just another highlight. I didn't get to see my boyfriend on the course. I knew he was there. I was pretty sure that he probably caught me on camera. He saw me. I just didn't see him. And I was pretty upset I didn't get to see him, but I just knew he was there to support me, which is really, really helpful. Almost feel like I have to not give up on my goal just because so many people, my friends or family are here to support me. And the crowd are crazy. There's one guy who was playing, I think, trumpet from his window. And there are so many people. I love them running through the neighborhoods. People are opening their windows and they're cheering from their windows as well. The crowd during the last 6 miles, I wouldn't think it would be possible to keep the pace without these people. Personally, from my own experience, I think cheering for a marathon is more exhausting than running a marathon. Every time I cheer for my friends at New York City Marathon, I lose my voice at the end of the day. So I want to say thank you so much for everybody who came out and cheered for the runners. I just wanted to know that it won't be possible without you guys to make the day so special. Yeah, so I think that's everything for the race day recap. I do want to revisit my training block and think about how I'm going to train for my next training block. But I'm here in UK for vacation for this week. I am actually in the beautiful Cotswolds for 2 days, and then I'll go back to London, enjoy the city for a few days before going back to San Francisco. So for this week, I am not going to think about running, and I won't be running this week and next week. And I guess part of the reason is I don't think I have fully processed everything yet. What I mean by that is I haven't fully processed how the training have been translated to the race result, what kind of regret or things I think I could have improved, could have made it better. So all of that will come later in the next few weeks, and I will make the plan to prepare for my next race. Hey guys, I realized I didn't talk about the racing shoe that I used in London Marathon, and this is not a complete recap if we don't talk about shoes. Okay, wrong shoe. Let me grab the right shoe. Oh yeah, now I have it. So if anybody have watched my previous video, you probably already seen the footage. I used the ASICS Metaspeed Edge Paris for the London Marathon. Initially, I packed 2 shoes. In my packing videos, I was going to pack the Edge Paris together with the New Balance SC Elite before. But then I thought about it. Why do I need to pack 2 pair of racing shoes? I just want to make the decision even before leaving for London. So once I get to London, I don't even want to have like 1% of the chance to think about that there is an alternative, because if I have to make a decision once arrive at the race, that's additional stress or just energy that will be consumed that could have been preserved. So in the end, I took my daily trainer, which is the New Balance Supercom trainer, and I used that for my last 40 minutes recovery run on that Friday. And then I used the ASICS Meta Speed Edge Paris. So the black bottom, and you can see is the edge. They are amazing. I would say I have zero regret choosing these on race day. First of all, just to start pacing, for me it was easy. I felt like running 820 was like easy. I didn't feel like much strain or stress for the first like 16 miles. And at the later part of the race, when I was actually tired, I have like pushed through it, the shoes, I wasn't even like at any given point of the race, I wasn't thinking about the shoes. Because they are actually very comfortable. They were very comfortable during the race, and they were fast. At least for my use case, I felt like I was running at 820 with less of effort that was needed. Almost feel like at least first half of the race, I felt like an easy run, more like a happy Sunday run, that type of feel. So they did really, really well. And running through the street of London, there were a lot of like uneven surfaces, potholes. I was pretty careful just because I fell 3 times during this training cycle. But I enjoyed myself. I was looking at the crowd, listening to the crowd, just be aware of the neighborhood, but at the same time was very careful about like what is in front of me, making sure I'm not stepping into any like uneven surfaces. So I think not noticing much about the shoes on my feet was a good thing for me. And then they were bouncy and fast. There were no pain whatsoever. I got a blister. I think it's my feature socks. I got a blister once wearing a feature socks when I was trying the Alpha Fly 3, and I ran in these for 40 miles before using them for the London Marathon. So I don't think it was the shoe, it was more about the socks I was wearing. Overall, I'm so happy that I find these. I've always been wearing Vaporfly for all the previous marathons, even half marathons, and my feet were always beat up after the race. Not just my feet, my ankle were always beat up after the marathon. Almost feel like some damages were done, and then they have to take a break just to like making sure all my body parts will be recovered. But for these, I was feeling fine the next day. I was pretty sore. My thigh were really sore. So when I was walking downstairs, I have to hold on to like something like when I was going down the staircase, I have to hold on to a person or the wall. But my feet completely fine. My ankle slightly sore the next day, but it was all right. I think part of the reason that I felt way better this time after London Marathon compared to any other race might be because the training that I put in, as well as the strength training I incorporated like religiously throughout this training cycle. But I do think finding these to replace Vaporfly is one of the biggest success during this training cycle. Just because for me they fits better. I think the upper is just brilliant. I don't like a super tight like fit shoe, but this one just feel like I feel like I have enough room. It's very breathable. The heel cap is very comfortable.
no heel slip. It's not a wide shoe, it's probably a narrow shoe, but for racing shoe they're not bad, at least for me. So yeah, to sum it up, I am very happy with Meta Speed Ash Paris, and in the future I think I may try out more racing shoe, but if I don't end up getting any new racing shoes in the next training cycle, I will be very happy to reuse these or just get a fresh pair. No regret whatsoever, at least at my level. If I want to get to 330, they are more than like powerful enough for me. So yeah.
Yeah, so that's everything for today's video. Thank you so much for all the support and kind messages. I know when I first started this YouTube channel, I was just talking about like running or running shoes and how I'm like training for London Marathon. And honestly, I don't know where this is gonna go. So again, I truly appreciate all the support, and it actually make this race experience really special. Now I'm going to go back to enjoy my vacation, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye. First meal of the day, chocolate croissant, and it's already 2:30 p.m. I'm waiting for my coffee to take the first bite. You can't really eat the croissant without like having a coffee first. And I know this is not a good meal to have as the first thing to eat, but you know, good decisions, smart decisions is only for pre-marathon. We're already at post-marathon, so I guess we can do whatever we want, you know, for a little bit, for like a week.
This week in April, he stepped back again. Yep, so Pooja started. I feel like he talks to make you understand.
Oh yeah. Already get to that. One won't be there forever.
Oh, this is the bit I hate.
It seems to go through it all. And this is a friend.
Oh my god, no more bobos.
How would you summarize that?